You're tacky and I hate you.
Hello everyone, this is Haku the Gamer coming at you 100 million hours late. This video was supposed to be out, like Thursday of last week. I tried to make it fancy for you guys, wanted to play along with Blender, I really wanted to get good at the animating. I had a really sweet setup, rendered it, and, well, it all went kaput. So, instead, we're just going to do the non-fancy version, and we're going to go at it like this. So we're coming at you with a Magic the Gathering deck tech today. This is probably my favorite deck that I've ever played in the history of ever. I like to call it SlagBomb. This was based off an idea from my local game store's owner, and he had been playing something like this. It was pretty much this deck with, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same list, to be totally honest with you. I don't think he was playing a couple of the cards that I was, just because it's how he likes to roll versus what I'm doing here. But they do have the same end game in mind. So with that in mind, we're going to get right into it. First, we're going to talk about the namesake of the deck. One of them, Slag Fiend. This is a one mana creature that its power and toughness are each equal to the number of artifact cards in all graveyards. And this is really what the deck wants to do, is like land a turn 1 Slag Fiend and have a bunch of artifacts in the graveyard. It's good early game if you can get some in the yard. It's good late game because it's going to be huge. It's really just the perfect card for a deck like this. And then we're going to move on to some of the other cards, how this deck actually performs. So we have 4 Lotus Petals, 4 Mishra's Baubles, 3 Urza's Baubles. These cards, they're all free. Who says free isn't the best? Lotus Petal gets us some mana. We put it on the battlefield, sack it, we get a mana. And it's really just another way to get like a turn 1, Slag Fiend going. We have Mishra's Bauble as a 4-of. You can sack it. You look at the top card of a player's library, and you draw a card beginning of next turn's upkeep. This has been seeing a really big uptick in the modern format with some of the big combo decks. I guess people found out that 0 mana cantrips are really good, and that's kind of pretty much the whole reason that we're playing this card as well. Urza's Bauble, kind of the same thing. We're only running 3. You sack it, choose a card at random from the target player's hand, and you look at it, and you draw a card at the beginning of next turn's upkeep. So, Mishra's Bauble and Urza's Bauble, they both just, for free, draw you a card. It cycles through your deck faster, and that's kind of what we're after. Now here's some more cards. We have Pyrite Spellbomb, Aether Spellbomb, Chromatic Star, Chromatic Sphere. I'm sure you guys are familiar with some of these cards. Pyrite Spellbomb, that used to be a little bit bigger back when eggs were around. It's kind of the same thing what we're going for here. It's 1 mana, and with Pyrite Spellbomb, you can pay a red, sack it, and you get to shock something. And you can also just pay a generic, sack it, draw a card. Generally, we're going to be using a lot of the spell bombs for the draw card effect, but they are good in the instance that we need to use them as removal as well. X and 2s can be a problem. Maybe they get really heavy in creatures on us, and we have to start using them as removal. So you kind of have to play them in that manner. Aether Spellbomb, another 4-of. Most of these are going to be all play sets. Aether Spellbomb also can act as removal. It can act as like a pseudo Time Walk for our opponent, where we can pay a blue, sack it, and return target creature to its owner's hand. That's an unsummoned effect. Or we can pay 1, sack it, draw a card. Chromatic Star, Chromatic Sphere, these are played really in like Tron decks, but again, they're really good for what we're trying to do. 1 mana each. Chromatic Star, you can pay 1, you sack it, and you add a mana of any color to your mana pool. And when it's put into a graveyard, you draw a card. And where it differs from Chromatic Sphere is they both, you pay 1, you can sack them to add the mana and draw the card. Chromatic Star, the star actually has to enter the graveyard first. So if somebody can interact with that to prevent it from doing so, then you don't get the card. Chromatic Sphere, when the ability resolves, you get the card. Now on to some more of our payoff cards for playing, a ton of artifacts and a ton of artifacts in our graveyard. We got 4 Shrapnel Blast. It's just the best card. 2 to 5, 2 for 5ing your opponent for sacrificing an artifact is always good. You can either use it for like X and 5s and removal in the casual format, that we play at the shop. It's leaps and bounds better than a lot of the cards for removal, just damage wise. And sometimes you just have to get that extra 5 points in, and you can't, land your Slag Fiend. You can't get anything going, but you happen to have some artifacts laying around, and you sack it, 5 your opponent. Sometimes you'll 5 a creature, and I know it's been a ton of help to me. Scrapyard Salvo, 3 mana sorcery, deals damage equal to the number of artifact cards in your graveyard. Where this is good is you're already putting artifacts in your graveyard. You're already sacking it up, and you just 3 for sometimes 8, 9, 10. Sometimes you only have to resolve like 2 of these to just crush the game, and that's where the beauty of the deck is. That's the bomb portion of this. Really kind of influenced by the artwork of this card. It's just really sweet. In Fling, that's kind of our backup plan, if you would. 2 mana as an additional cost, sacrifice a creature at instant speed. It deals damage equal to sacrifice creature's power to target creature or player. This is great. You land your Slag Fiend, and sometimes you get in for damage. Sometimes your opponent tries to remove it, and you just kind of like, ha, got ya, fling it at you, or fling it at their dude. It's either can be a revenge thing, or sometimes you can go like Slag Fiend for 10. You pass a turn, and your opponent can't do a whole lot. You swing, next turn, you swing, you hit for 10, you fling for 10, and you've got him. I've had this happen a couple times. It's always really cool. For the lands, we're not really doing anything interesting here. 4 Great Furnace, 2 Darksteel Citadel, 11 Mountains. Great Furnace and Darksteel Citadel, both just being artifact lands. You can Shrapnel Blast them, and it's just, another 6 artifacts that really just help bring it home. And it's very nice if you can get some of the Citadel and the Furnace going early. It does help for instances where you haven't got a whole lot going on and you need an extra artifact to sack, because we're already sacrificing all of our artifacts anyways, and so you might need to get that extra couple mana to the extra couple artifacts rather to actually have something to Shrapnel Blast. And now for the sideboard, we're looking at Sunbeam Spellbomb, Leyline of Sanctity. You're coming up against, some burn decks. Back when the casual format had a lot of burn in it, it was real nice to have, some life gain when I play this. Sunbeam Spellbomb has always been nice. You can, for 1 mana, you play it. You can pay a white and sack it to gain 5 life, and life gain is just atrocious when you're talking about burn decks that have to resolve all, X amount of cards, and it just messes with their damage. And it's nice to be able to customize your Spellbomb package, between the 2 Sunbeams, your Aethers, and your Pyrites. Leyline of Sanctity, I have had some free wins with this card. Let me tell you, there are a lot of times when you just turn 0 pregame effects Leyline and game's done. They literally, since you're playing casual, some players don't think about bringing in the removal, and so Leyline of Sanctity is oftentimes a free win against them. Not so much the modern format. A lot of people play the hate that's required to get rid of Leyline of Sanctity, and it makes it really backbreaking for them if they can't do anything, directly to you. That all they can do is remove your Slag Fiend. You have one creature in the deck, 4 copies. That's it. If they can only target, it's a free win for you. Moving on, we've got Grafdigger's Cage, Torment's Crypt. When I was recrafting the sideboard for this deck, the only thing that I had remembered, because I hadn't played for a long time, and what was nice is I was like, okay, let me just go back into my roots. I remember playing zombies. I remember playing, graveyard decks. Grafdigger's Cage, I know, is just a really good card against the graveyard-based strategies. And you've got so many reanimating zombies. You've got Gravecrawler, Prized Amalgam, that if they just start generating you some stuff, they start getting a huge board presence, your deck may not have a lot of time to take off. And so you need a way, since we're using, was it 23 cantrips? There's more than likely, there's like over 1 in 3 chance that you are going to draw a card. And you really want to hope that cards Grapdigger's Cage or Torment's Crypt. They're also both artifacts. Sometimes you can just play them and you sack them, especially the Torment's Crypt. Being another 0 drop it could be huge for you. Sure, it doesn't draw you a card, but it does allow you to break out of those graveyard-based decks. We have Pithing Needle, Ratchet Bomb, just really good cards against problematic things. Pithing Needle, you got Planeswalkers, you've got just ridiculous activated abilities in the casual format that you really just can't deal with. I know that a lot of times Planeswalkers are a huge problem, against this deck. You have discard outlets and the like. Sometimes people play in some madness-based strategies. You can go on some really crazy things. And I've only had to really use this a couple times, but let me tell you, it's helped. Ratchet Bomb is our concession to I don't have much removal for anything other than creatures, really, because you've got the couple spells that you can get the creatures with. Well, Ratchet Bomb kind of helps out in those kind of games where you can tick it up and get rid of what they're dealing with. I know enchantments are a problem for red, and if you're not going to the dome with it, then it's gonna be a little bit harder for you. And then also, since it's an artifact, it's really nice to be able to put that in the graveyard. These are kind of the spicy cards. We've got Guy's Blessing, Terra Eternal. Mill, as good as it is for us, we do not want to have to draw from an empty library. Sure, we're playing a bunch of cantrips, but if your opponent, sometimes you can just go, they go mill you, and till it gets Guy's Blessing. And if Guy's Blessing is the only card that's left, if they just can't, have a way to infinitely mill you, they can't do that. They have to be able to remove that card from your library, from the game, to be able to win at that point. I've considered switching this up with maybe an Eldrazi or maybe Blightsteel Colossus, because Guy's Blessing does shuffle your entire graveyard back into your library, and if you've got the wrong hand, you're done. That's it. You're top decking until you can start re-getting stuff back, or until you can get Guy's Blessing back in your graveyard. So I do think that it's potential that Blightsteel Colossus is just better, because it doesn't reshuffle everything. It only reshuffles that, and that could be better. Terra Eternal, indestructible lands it's really kind of funny. This was a last minute include in my sideboard. I thought, casual people like to blow lands up, and I know I've tried. I haven't played a whole lot of it. I know people have, and I know there's been people that'll come up to me in the shop and be like, Haku, man, look at this sweet land destruction deck, and I just don't want to deal with that, guys. Terra Eternal was one of, I figured, we're playing so many cantrips, I don't feel like it's a huge thing, with this deck. But, you never know. And as of one of, it could come in handy. You decide it in, draw into it, and you kind of watch your opponent like, oh man, I don't know anymore, guys. But yeah, that's it for today. This has been Haku, and I really enjoy playing this. Give it a shot. The big problem right now is that a few of the cards, when I got this deck, it was mega budget. I believe I had picked up most of the pieces for under $60. Lotus Petal's kind of come up in price recently. Mishra's Bauble has exploded in price. Like I said, as it turns out, the modern folk have realized that this card not only is a 0-mana cantrip, but it works really well with fetch lands, in that look at the top card of your deck and being able to say, well, I don't need it, and shuffling that away, for a random card is actually good. And being able to do that on turn 1 is almost better than Gitaxian Probe, where sometimes you're having to pay 2 life. I know I was seeing play with Suicide Zoo, and see him play. I've seen it in a couple Delver lists that I was looking at, but it has exploded in price, and now the deck's almost $200, and I just really think that's crazy. But give it a try. Maybe you've got some of the pieces lying around. I know some of like the more spicy pieces are really cheap because no one's playing them, and for the most part, this deck is pretty budget. Of course, you can say that with with X deck out there. But hope you guys had a good day. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And have a good one. Peace out. See ya.